Picture this. You're driving down the highway in 1974. Your favorite radio station playing those unforgettable hits that define the decade. That familiar guitar riff kicks in, that voice you know by heart starts singing, and you're singing along to what you think is the original version. But here's the thing. Many of those songs that soundtracked our lives in the 70s weren't originals at all. They were remakes that became more famous than the songs that inspired them. Today, we're taking a journey back through the decade that gave us disco, rock, and soul, to uncover 10 1970s hits that were actually remakes. Number 10, Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin.
We sang every song that Javi knew.
When Janis Joplin's raw, emotional version of this song hit the airwaves in 1971, it became her signature tune and only #1 hit. That gravelly voice telling the story of freedom and loss seemed to come straight from Joplin's own experiences.
Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee.
But this wasn't her creation. The song was actually written by Chris Christopherson and first recorded by Roger Miller in 1969. Miller's version was more country-oriented, smoother around the edges. Joplin took that foundation and transformed it into something entirely different. A blues rock anthem that captured the spirit of a generation searching for meaning on America's highways.
Windshield wipers slapping time, I was holding Bobby's hand.
The song was released posthumously after Joplin's death in October 1970, making it even more poignant. Her version didn't just cover Miller's song, it reinvented it completely, turning it into one of the most memorable recordings of the early 70s.
Freedom is just another word for nothing else.
Number 9, Black Magic Woman by Santana Carlos.
Got a black magic woman.
Santana's version of this song became synonymous with his Latin rock sound that dominated the early 70s. That distinctive guitar work layered over Latin percussion made it feel like pure Santana magic. The song helped establish the band as one of the most important acts to emerge from the San Francisco music scene. But the song originally came from an entirely different place. Fleetwood Mac recorded it first in 1968, when they were still primarily a British blues band under Peter Green's leadership. Green's version was more traditional blues, without the Latin rhythms that would make it famous.
Yes, I need you so bad.
Santana's transformation was complete. They took a straightforward blues number and infused it with the Latin jazz influences that were revolutionizing rock music. The result was a sound that felt fresh and exotic to American audiences, helping to introduce Latin musical elements into mainstream rock.
Got a black magic woman.
Number 8, Killing Me Softly with His Song by Roberta Flack.
I'm in my bed with his fingers.
Roberta Flack's tender, intimate version of this song became one of 1973's biggest hits and earned her the Grammy Award for Record of the Year. Her gentle delivery and the song's beautiful melody made it feel like a personal confession, as if she was singing directly to each listener.
But he just kept right on.
The original version was recorded just a year earlier by Lori Lieberman in 1972. Lieberman wrote the song about her experience watching Don McLean perform, but her version never gained much attention. When Flack heard it, she was immediately drawn to its emotional honesty.
With his words killing me softly.
Flack's interpretation slowed down the tempo and emphasized the song's introspective quality. Her version spent weeks at the top of the charts and became one of the defining songs of early 70s soul music. It was later covered by Lauryn Hill in the 90s, proving the lasting power of Flack's arrangement. Number 7, Without You by Harry Nilsson.
We burst a pretty balloon and took us to the moon.
Harry Nilsson's heartbreaking ballad became one of the most beloved songs of the early 70s. His soaring vocals and the song's dramatic arrangement made it a perfect showcase for his incredible range. Many considered it his masterpiece, a song that seemed tailor-made for his unique voice. The song was originally recorded by Badfinger in 1970 as part of their album No Dice. The British band's version was more restrained, embedded within their album, rather than released as a major single. Badfinger was primarily known for their power pop sound, quite different from the orchestral drama Nilsson would bring to the song. Nilsson's version transformed it into an epic declaration of love and loss. He took what was essentially a hidden album track and turned it into a worldwide hit that reached #1 in multiple countries. The arrangement was more ambitious, the vocals more powerful, and the emotional impact more devastating.
I can't give anymore.
Number 6. I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton.
Track me down.
Eric Clapton's version of this song became his first #1 hit in the United States and introduced many Americans to reggae music for the first time. Clapton's guitar work and blues-influenced vocals gave the song a different energy, while maintaining its Caribbean soul. The original was written and recorded by Bob Marley and the Wailers in 1973. Marley's version was pure reggae, with that distinctive offbeat rhythm and Rastafarian themes that were central to his music. At the time, reggae was still largely unknown outside of Jamaica and the Caribbean communities.
They are trying to track me down.
Clapton had discovered Marley's music and was fascinated by the reggae sound. His cover helped introduce reggae to mainstream rock audiences and paved the way for Marley's own international success later in the decade. Clapton always credited Marley and helped bring attention to the original artist, something that didn't always happen with cover versions.
I shot the sheriff.
Number 5. Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips.
The world he left behind, not so long.
This became Gladys Knight and the Pips' signature song, and one of the greatest soul recordings of the 70s. Knight's powerful vocals, combined with the Pips' distinctive backing vocals and that unforgettable rhythm, created a perfect piece of storytelling that captured the era's themes of love, sacrifice, and the search for a better life.
On that midnight train to Georgia.
The song started life as Midnight Plane to Houston, written and recorded by Jim Weatherly in 1972. Weatherly's version was more country folk, telling a similar story, but with a completely different musical approach. When Cissy Houston first covered it, she changed the destination to Georgia, and that's the version that caught the attention of Gladys Knight. Knight and the Pips transformed it into a soul masterpiece. They slowed down the tempo, emphasized the emotional weight of the story, and created one of the most memorable arrangements in soul music history. The song became their biggest hit and won them a Grammy Award. Number 4. Proud Mary by Ike and Tina Turner. When Ike and Tina Turner took on this song, they created one of the most electrifying performances in rock and soul history. Tina's explosive energy and Ike's arrangement turned it into a completely different experience. Part rock, part soul, part pure theatrical excitement. This wasn't just a cover version. It was a complete artistic statement that showcased everything that made the Ike and Tina Turner Revue one of the most dynamic live acts of the early 70s. The song was originally written and recorded by Creedence Clearwater Revival in 1969. John Fogerty's version was classic CCR, that swamp rock sound, with his distinctive vocals telling the story of riverboat life. It was already a hit when the Turners decided to record their version, reaching number 2 on the charts and establishing itself as one of CCR's signature songs. What made the Turners' decision bold was that they were taking on a song that was still fresh in everyone's memory. CCR's version was everywhere on the radio, so any cover would inevitably invite direct comparison. But Ike Turner was confident that his arrangement could transform the song into something entirely different. The Turners didn't just cover the song, they reimagined it entirely. They added the famous slow intro that built to an explosive, up-tempo finale. The arrangement was pure theater, starting with Tina's spoken introduction about taking things nice and easy before launching into the most high-energy performance imaginable. The contrast was stunning and became a template for dynamic live performances. Their live performances of the song became legendary and helped establish them as one of the premier live acts in rock and soul. The song became their signature number, the moment in every show when audiences knew they were witnessing something special. Their version showed how the same song could work in completely different musical contexts, proving that great material could be endlessly reinterpreted by artists with vision and talent. Number 3. Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
This became one of the biggest hits of 1976 and 1977, with its driving beat and memorable melody making it a staple of 70s rock radio. The song's energy and Manfred Mann's distinctive arrangement made it feel like the perfect marriage of art rock and commercial appeal. It was impossible to escape this song during its chart run. It seemed to be playing everywhere, from car radios to disco dance floors. The original version was written and recorded by Bruce Springsteen in 1973 for his debut album, Greetings from Asbury Park, NJ. Springsteen's version was more acoustic and folk-oriented, buried among other tracks on an album that didn't initially receive much attention. At the time, Springsteen was still being promoted as a new Bob Dylan, and his dense, wordy songs weren't connecting with mainstream audiences.
Blinded by the light.
Manfred Mann had already established himself as someone who could spot great songs and transform them into hits. The British keyboardist had scored with covers before, but he saw something special in Springsteen's complex wordplay and storytelling. What others might have seen as too complicated or too wordy, Mann saw as raw material for something bigger. Manfred Mann's Earth Band completely transformed it, adding synthesizers, a more driving rhythm, and a completely different vocal approach. They stripped away some of the acoustic folk elements and built a wall of sound around Springsteen's lyrics. The synthesizer work was particularly innovative, creating textures that were both futuristic and accessible to radio programmers. The vocal delivery was crucial to the transformation. Where Springsteen had delivered the words with folk earnestness, Mann's band gave them a more theatrical, almost mystical quality. They turned what was essentially a folk song into a rock anthem that captured the progressive rock spirit of the mid-70s. The irony is that their cover helped introduce many people to Springsteen's songwriting, contributing to his eventual breakthrough as a major artist. Many fans discovered Springsteen by working backward from Manfred Mann's hit, proving that covers could serve as gateways to an artist's broader catalog, rather than just stealing their thunder. Number 2. Love Hurts by Nazareth. Nazareth's hard rock version of this song became a defining track of mid-70s rock. Their heavy guitar sound and Dan McCafferty's distinctive vocals gave the song a raw, powerful edge that resonated with rock audiences around the world. The Scottish band had been building a following with their blues-influenced hard rock, but this song catapulted them to international recognition. The song was originally written by Boudleaux Bryant and first recorded by the Everly Brothers in 1960. The Everly Brothers version was pure country pop, with their trademark harmonies and a much gentler approach to the song's theme of romantic pain. It was a tender ballad that fit perfectly with their sweet, harmonious style that had made them stars in the late 50s. What's fascinating is how many artists had tried to make this song work in different contexts before Nazareth found the magic formula. Roy Orbison recorded a version, and even Jim Capaldi of Traffic took a shot at it. But none of these versions captured the public imagination the way Nazareth's would. Nazareth took that country foundation and built a rock monument on top of it. They slowed down the tempo dramatically, added crushing heavy guitars, and Dan McCafferty's gravelly voice transformed the gentle plea into a tortured howl of pain. The arrangement was sparse, but powerful, letting each guitar chord and vocal phrase carry maximum emotional weight. Their version became a template for the power ballad format that would dominate rock radio throughout the 70s and 80s. Bands like Whitesnake, Scorpions, and countless others would follow Nazareth's blueprint of taking a simple melody and amplifying it with heavy guitars and passionate vocals. Their version proved that great songs could cross genre boundaries and find new life in completely different musical contexts, setting the stage for decades of rock ballads to come. Number 1. You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt's version became her first number 1 hit and established her as one of the major voices of 70s rock and country. Her powerful vocals and the song's rock arrangement made it a perfect showcase for her versatility as a performer. The song dominated the charts for weeks and became the breakthrough that launched her into superstardom. The song was originally recorded by Dee Dee Warwick in 1963. Warwick's version was more R&B oriented, with a different rhythm and vocal approach. Betty Everett also recorded a version in 1963, but neither original version achieved significant commercial success. The song had been floating around for over a decade, waiting for the right artist to unlock its potential. What made Ronstadt's version special was timing as much as talent. By 1974, female rock vocalists were finally getting the recognition they deserved, and Ronstadt's voice was perfectly suited for the era. Her version had a confidence and defiance that spoke to women who were asserting their independence in relationships and society. Producer Peter Asher's arrangement transformed the song completely. They gave it a harder edge, emphasized the defiant lyrics, and created one of the defining songs of 70s female rock vocals. The guitar work was more aggressive, the rhythm section more driving, and Ronstadt's delivery more commanding than anything either original version had offered.
I broke a heart that's gentle and true.
Ronstadt's success with this song opened doors for other female rockers and proved that women could dominate rock radio just as effectively as their male counterparts. Her version showed how a great singer could take an overlooked song and turn it into a career-defining hit that would influence a generation of performers. These 10 songs remind us that music has always been a conversation between artists, with each generation building on what came before. The 70s were particularly rich in this kind of musical dialogue, with artists feeling free to take songs from different genres and decades and make them their own. What made these covers special wasn't just that they were different from the originals, it's that they were better suited to their time and place. Janis Joplin's Me and Bobby McGee captured the restless spirit of the early 70s in a way that Roger Miller's original couldn't. Santana's Black Magic Woman introduced Latin rock to mainstream audiences when the world was ready for that fusion. These artists didn't just change the arrangements, they changed the meaning of the songs themselves. They proved that a great song is like a great story. It can be told in many different ways, and each telling can reveal something new. The next time you hear one of these classics, remember that you're not just listening to a song, you're hearing the result of musical conversations that spanned decades and genres. That's the real magic of the music that defined our generation. Thanks for taking this journey back through the 70s with us. If you enjoyed discovering the stories behind these classic songs, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more musical history. What other songs from the 70s do you think might have been covers? Let us know in the comments below.